Howdy, Billy Balam buddies. Let's talk today about Cross the Line mission. It's in a DLC Pack 2. It's a pretty fun mission. For this mission, there's a lot of Hectors and Deroys, Retariuses, and drones. So it's a very good sniping mission. As far as I think my preferred classes on this one would be probably 2 air raiders or an air raider and a wing diver, at least on Inferno. As far as what to take, like I said, it's a very good sniping mission. So for Ranger, I would probably take your best sniping. So probably 2 Lysanders, maybe a Stringer and something else. Maybe, you know, if you need some healing, or I wouldn't recommend missiles because you don't want to pull everything on this map for sure. So it's more of a sniping specific targets at certain times. So yeah, I'd probably take either, like I said, 2 Lysanders or a Stringer and maybe like an ST machine gun or something like that, perhaps. As far as Wing Diver, at least on Inferno, she's very good for the fact that there's later on in the mission there's a drop ship that has that drops these pink drones, which are very strong, and you want to kill that ship very fast. So she could Gungnir that ship, which would be very beneficial to have her for that part of the mission at least. But if you're not playing on Inferno, then I would say she's no better than a Ranger necessarily. So I would take, you know, your best sniper. Usually monsters are pretty good, and maybe you could take a Lance or something that would be decent for drones. Be careful with Thunderbows, because like I said, you don't want to pull everything on the map. So just something you like to kill with drones, with. Air Raider, because there's no spiders and because there's no gold ants in this mission, for this mission, Balam is actually very good. And that's what I'm going to be using when I play on this with a friend. Especially if you have lower health, which we're going to do reduced health on this on Inferno. I really recommend Balam. And of course, Railgun is also a good option for sniping. So, because since we're doing 2 air raiders, I'm going to be taking the Railgun to snipe, and he's going to be taking the Balam, and then we're just going to share those vehicles together. But I'd recommend those vehicles probably the most. And then also for your secondary weapon, since we don't have a sniper, I mean we do have a railgun, but since we want to kill the dropships fast, I recommend taking a Sprite Fall, because you can just get out of your vehicle and set it off, and it goes off very quickly, and it damages the target. It does all the damage really fast as compared to a satellite blaster, which does it slowly. So that's why we're taking Sprite Fall, to set it off and then get back in the vehicle immediately. Plus, if the ships are moving, it's also good to take Sprite Falls because, like I said, it's easier to hit moving targets with the Sprite Falls. And if you're having problems with survivability, then you can always take some bunkers as well. But I don't think it'd be much of an issue if you have someone with a railgun, because you can just use the railgun as your armor until you get the Balam out, and then you can get into the Balam. So I wind up taking a Cannon D just to test it out, but it didn't turn out very well, so I don't recommend taking the Cannon D. I just took 2 Sprite Falls, he took 2 Sprite Falls, and like I said, Balam's very good on this mission. And then for Fencer, I'd say Fencer struggles on this mission, mainly because his strongest attribute is to move around fast and do damage while you're moving and kiting enemies, and you're not going to be doing that much on this mission, so he's going to have to just snipe. So he has a lot of damage on his sniping. The 35 battle cannons are really strong, but it's a little bit more difficult to aim with his particular sniping weapons, so I'd say he struggles a little bit. I wouldn't take missiles. I would probably take 2 heavy cannons and maybe Great Shield and a Javelin Catapult. That could be good, at least for the beginning part, or if you have Hectors attacking you or something, or Deroys, you can use the shield to survive. But that's probably what I would take for him. But let's go ahead and get started into the mission, then I'll explain as far as the order of what we do. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started in the mission. Alright, let's get started. So as you can see, I take a Spritefall and a Cannon D, and he takes 2 Spritefalls. I'm taking a Railgun, he's taking a Walking Fortress. Like I said, I don't recommend Cannon D, I recommend probably 2 Spritefalls. Would be better. The tough part here is just the beginning, really, honestly, for your low health. We're playing on Inferno, we're doing 5,000 health each. I'm just going to throw, at the start here you got some NPCs. There's some Rangers, and then there's a bunch of tanks. And so let's start, we're just going to go to the right side here and throw a Railgun. And we're just going to try and get enough build points so we can call another Railgun for him, and then eventually, ultimately, call out a Balam. And once you have a Balam out, you're pretty safe. So, the idea here is you don't want to pull the entire map. There's going to be some dropships that lower down later that have drones, but for now it's just Hectors and Duroys and Retariuses. So I'm going to start on the right side of the map and just attack some enemies here with the Railgun and hopefully get some more build points so I can call a Railgun in for him. Really the danger is in this mission with lower health is just when you get out of the vehicle. So he's taking my Railgun right now. For now I'm just going to call some air raids down and get a second one out. As far as I can tell, the way this mission works is once you kill enough enemies here at the start, those dropships come down, and when the dropships come down, they're going to start dropping drones out. So our priority is to kill those drone ships first, because they are going to do the most damage to us. They're the most threat because they're just annoying. Those keep spawning drones, so we're going to try and focus on killing that first. But there are webs in front of the dropships as well that have Retariuses in them, so we have to be very careful about that too. I mean, the NPCs are nice down there because they will distract the enemies for us a little bit. But the way we used to do this mission was just go to the corner and snipe slowly and stay in the corner and snipe with like a Proteus or Railguns. But like I said, we found that the Balam is really useful, and I think not only is it good for low health strategies, but for I think any health strategy would be good to use, because he's very strong here and very good against the all the enemy types. So now he has a Balam out, so we're pretty safe at this point. I'm just going to try and work on killing that first dropship here, while he's just going to distract enemies and kill drones and so forth. And he's in a, of course, as soon as we get our vehicles up, we're gonna make sure to throw them out immediately because we need as many Balams as possible. I try and rush it a little bit a couple times here, and which I probably shouldn't have done, but like that one time right there, I just drove in and tried to kill that dropship too fast a little bit, and I got my 30,000 health Railgun just destroyed. But yeah, if you take it slow, it's not gonna be too bad. As far as the next phase, there is another phase after this, and that's after you kill a certain number of enemies. I don't think it has to do with which enemies you kill, because there's been times when we sniped all of the left side of the map, and the dropships came, and then another time we sniped all the right side of the map, and the dropships came. So I think it just has to do with how many enemies you kill before the next phase. But once you kill a certain number of enemies, then the next phase will come, which are 3 dropships that drop those slow-moving drones, which are worse, do more damage. And then there's going to be 1 dropship in the middle that'll drop a pink drone, which is, like I said, a terrible enemy. It does, on the lower difficulties, it does like 75% of your health when it hits you, and on the higher difficulties, I want to say it does, I don't know, 20 or 30,000 health to you if it hits you entirely. So very dangerous. So we're just going to try and press now to the next dropship back here, which has drones on it as well. And then he's just going to keep dropping. He throws a walking fortress for me in the corner there, because I'm going to be using that too. I'm just using the Railgun until the next phase comes out. But Spritefall doesn't actually hit those ships through the top like that, unfortunately. The only thing that I know of that hits through those ships is like artillery or strafe plans. But I'm just using it to kill the droid underneath it, because it does shoot through the dropship. It just doesn't hurt the dropship. Okay, so now that we killed that, the second drone ship, there's still more drone ships in the back that drop Hectors, but they're not a big deal. Now we're going to be close to the last phase of this mission, which, like I said, is those three dropships that circle around. So we're just going to keep killing some enemies, some bigger enemies, larger enemies like the droids until that next phase comes and be ready for it. But even like the pink drones that just destroy, you know, you if you're outside of a vehicle, Balam, it doesn't really do much to, so it's not a huge threat to him. So that's another reason why it's better to take, I think, a Balam than taking like a Proteus, for example, and setting up in the corner. So, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, there is a tall Droid that's in the far left side of the map, and that's what we're going to work on next, because that is a big threat. That can destroy the Balam pretty quickly, because you can't really reach him with the Balam, and if he starts attacking you, then you can be in trouble. So I'm going to take my railgun and attack that tall Droid there on the right side. You can see on the screen there. There's a couple times we actually, or at least I think I do, I make a mistake of getting out of my vehicle and being a little careless. Like I said, that's the biggest threat with low health. Just try and be careful with when you get out of the vehicle with the Hectors, because those artillery Hectors can really hit you, and they actually wind up almost ending the mission here. So now I'm going to attack this tall Droid, because, like I said, we need to kill this before the next phase, ideally at least. So it's a little bit tough to hit him, but it's not too bad. And I think after we kill this is when we trigger the next phase. So I believe all the NPCs, I don't think they're still alive anymore. So that, like I said, they were a good distraction there on the left side, so that's fine. But the good thing about, yeah, now the ships come in. Now that we killed the Droid, the ships are coming in. Yeah, he actually gets hit by a mortar, so, and I get hit by a mortar too as I revive him, which is kind of funny. So that was the most dangerous part, I think, that we had. But anyway, now those drop ships come in. The two on the outside, on the right and the left, are going to just go in and circle around, and the one right there in the middle, as you see it land, is going to stay in the middle and just open up and drop those pink drones. So you want to kill that priority first. So if you have a gun near, that's the time when you would make sure to snipe that middle ship first, and then you can snipe the ones on the side. But we're just going to try and kill that middle ship now as priority. Because of that death, unfortunately, we weren't ready with the sprite falls, because we would have killed the first time it opened. But unfortunately, like I said, we got hit by the mortar, so it didn't work out. But it's no big deal. We can just recover here, and I'm just going to finish it off here, and then we can get back in the Balams and finish out the mission. But it turns out if you don't attack those drone ships, they will not come after you. So you can, if you need to recover, you can always just go off to the side of the map, kill the enemies that are near you, all the drones that are near you and the Hectors, and just don't attack anything else, and the enemies will stop coming after you. So always keep that in mind if you ever need to just recover. To just that goes for a lot of missions in this game. If you're ever in trouble, you always can just kill enemies that are near you and recover, regroup, get some health up, and then continue the mission. Because for the most part, most of the time, the enemies will not keep coming after you. They will stop. They will stop coming after you if you just don't attack near the large group that's out in the middle of the map. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to try and work on killing these pink drones here, because, you know, they're still dangerous, even though that, as you can see, they're just ripping a lot of armor off, and we have so much, it's not a huge deal. He's actually going to get into a railgun too and try and snipe him a little bit from the railgun. It's a little bit easier because it's hard to punch these things. But as you can see, the other two drop ships out there that are circling around, they're not even attacking us anymore, the drones that are dropped out of it, because we're not attacking near them. So we're able to just stay in this corner, finish off this part, and then we can continue. And that's what I liked about the sprite fall. You know, you could just when we need to kill those drop ships that are circling, we can use the sprite fall on it. And even though the ships are moving around pretty fast, as long as you sprite fall in like towards the nose of the ship, so that way when the sprite fall comes down, the ship will kind of drive right into the sprite fall, and you'll still be able to attack it. But yeah, there's still some Hectors that are coming from the corner, but they're pretty slow, so it takes time for them to get over here, so we're not too worried about them either. But I really think you could probably do this mission with 200 health, because as long as you have the railgun and you always, when you're being careful between the transitions of being in a vehicle to the Balam, I think there's really no threat in this mission, honestly. And just us, us being a little bit careless, or me being a little careless trying to change vehicles is the only reason we had a death at any time, because of those mortar Hectors. So now I'm going to get into a railgun, get ready for attacking the dropships now that are circling around. And then we'll finish off those dropships on the right that are dropping Hectors out there. There is still some Retariuses out there, so we have to be careful, but I think it's not too big of a threat now at this point, because we killed most of it. There's still some actually Hectors on the far left side. Now we're just going to clean up some Retariuses that are over there. Unfortunately, if you get grabbed by a Retarius, you can't just jump into the vehicle and get unattached. You can't go into vehicles when you're being grabbed, unfortunately. But with the railgun, you can always hit them once and they'll let you go. Oh yeah, as far as I can tell, because as we were using these Balams, it seems like when you do the combo move, if you're not sure how to do the combo move, you press the right punch, left punch, right punch. That's the way to do the combo, like the big uppercut. As far as I can tell, it seems like it does double damage, because we were able to kill Hectors with a full combo. Whereas if you just want to punch them left, right, left, right, left, right, then it took about 8 punches, I think it was, somewhere around there. So it seemed like it was a little bit better, but the thing is you have to make sure you hit. If you don't hit, then you're kind of wasting the combo. So I don't know what's better, honestly. I kind of prefer just punching left, right over and over again instead, but it seems like the combo can be good too, so I'm not sure. I go back and forth on what's better, because it's really hard to tell how much damage that thing does. Okay, now we're going to try and attack these ships. So we're trying to find a good time when they don't go over the top of our head, so we can actually use the railgun as well. But as you can see, they're moving pretty fast, but even so, that's why I like Spritefall. Spritefall it calls very fast. It's one of the fastest calling air raids. So therefore, it can be very good for moving targets, for really high damage moving targets. So he calls his a little early, unfortunately, accidentally. But then, as long as you call it, like I said, on the nose of the ship, it'll drive into it, and then it's pretty easy. We probably could have killed both of those at once, but we're just going to play it safe and take out these drones with the railguns. But as you can see that any houses or buildings that the Retarius webs is hooked to, it can't be destroyed. So that big mansion in front of us is actually a pretty safe spot to hide behind, because no one can destroy that building, and so therefore you can kind of use it as a shield almost of Hector shots and Retarius shots. Although sometimes they'll of course shoot you through buildings, but I don't know if I do the combo here or not. Yeah, there's the right, and then left, and then right, and it one-shots it'll one-shot the Hectors. It seemed like the uppercut is what does the big damage. But yeah, for some reason, I don't know why, the spiders are the worst threat to Balam. They just melt him. I mean, you can try playing any mission with just all spiders and call a Balam out, and he'll be dead within seconds, even 625,000 health. I'm not sure why that is, but ants are probably a second weakness, I would say. Here I go, I'm just punching with normally, and you can see it takes more shots. But I don't know. I still like the punching better, I'm not sure. Alright, so now we just have one more drone ship, I believe, and that's it. I believe he killed before I had a chance to see the ship. But now, all we have is just these drones left, so because we're pretty much done, he decided to mess around and see what he could do with the Balam in that tall building. The building in front of us you can't really destroy. So he walks over to it to see what happens, and he actually winds up walking into the building because there's another mission on the campaign where it's called Sniper Attack, and if you call a Balam on that mission, the Balam will actually fall through the building because that building cannot be destroyed. So therefore, because the building can't be destroyed and Balam has like this no clipping thing, he'll walk through any buildings that can't be destroyed. So he actually goes into that building there, and then he decides to get out, and he actually is suspended inside the building. He could not get back into his Balam, and I can't destroy the building. So he's actually wound up being stuck in that building, and there's nothing I could really do to save him. He actually sent me a picture of it later. He's actually floating in midair, and he couldn't do anything to get in or out of the building. So we actually almost messed up the mission there at the end just by messing around, because if I would have done the same thing and went in there, we probably both would have had to reset this mission, unfortunately. But yeah, that was kind of interesting how you can just walk through that building with Balam. But now I'm just gonna finish it myself with the railgun, which, you know, it's not too much of a threat. But he asked, like, can we retreat to change gears? And then he starts spamming save me, which always brings back good memories of playing online when someone with 200 health will enter your room and on Inferno and then die and then just starts spamming save me. I ask him, are you 12 years old? But anyway, yes, this is pretty much the end of the mission, so I wanted to thank Robert for helping me again with these videos, and thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Thanks.